Travis Kelce has once again become the center of public attention after the NFL star openly acknowledged the possibility of a rare public appearance alongside global pop icon Taylor Swift. Although his statement was brief and carefully worded, it was enough to ignite widespread media coverage and intense public speculation, given how closely guarded their relationship has been until now. During a recent interview, Kelce was asked directly about the chances of appearing publicly with Swift. Rather than shutting down the question or avoiding it, he responded in a way that many interpreted as intentionally open-ended. He suggested that the possibility was not off the table, a remark that immediately drew attention for being one of his most transparent comments to date regarding their relationship. The reaction was swift. Entertainment outlets, pop culture analysts, and fans across the globe quickly amplified the statement, pushing both Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift back to the top of trending searches. What might have seemed like a casual response instantly evolved into a major talking point, underscoring the cultural weight both figures carry individually, and even more so together. Taylor Swift is widely known for being highly selective when it comes to public appearances with romantic partners. Throughout her career, each public moment has been deliberate, controlled, and often symbolic. Because of this, Kelce's willingness to leave the door open, even slightly, has been interpreted as a meaningful shift. Observers believe that any decision for the pair to appear publicly would be carefully planned rather than spontaneous. Industry insiders note that the timing adds another layer of intrigue. Kelce remains an active and highly visible figure in professional football, while Swift continues to dominate the global music scene with large-scale tours and record-breaking projects. Coordinating schedules between two careers of this magnitude is no small feat, leading many to believe that if a public appearance does occur, it will be tied to a strategically significant moment. Speculation has naturally followed. Some believe a joint appearance could happen at a major sporting event, aligning with Kelce's professional world. Others suggest the moment could unfold at a high-profile entertainment or music-related event, where Swift's presence alone typically commands international attention. As of now, no details regarding timing or location have been confirmed. Notably, Kelce has offered no further clarification since his initial comment gained traction. This silence has only intensified public curiosity. In today's media landscape, ambiguity often fuels engagement, and every subsequent move, whether a social media post or a public schedule update, is now being closely scrutinized. Fans view the potential appearance as more than celebrity spectacle. For many, it represents the possible convergence of two dominant cultural spheres: elite professional sports and global pop music. A shared public moment, even a brief one, is expected to generate lasting conversation well beyond the initial headlines. From a media perspective, the implications are significant. A confirmed public appearance would likely dominate entertainment news cycles, generate extensive international coverage, and inspire countless analyses. Even a short, informal sighting could ripple through digital platforms for days or weeks. At present, neither Travis Kelce nor Taylor Swift has issued additional official statements. Still, the impact of Kelce's remarks is undeniable. What was once treated as tightly sealed speculation has now shifted into a topic of legitimate public anticipation. For now, audiences remain in a holding pattern. Each major event, public appearance, or calendar milestone is viewed as a potential setting for what many believe could become a defining pop culture moment. Whether Kelce's comment was a casual acknowledgement or a subtle signal of what's to come remains unclear. What is certain is that one sentence has changed the narrative. By opening the possibility of a rare public appearance, Travis Kelce has sparked a new chapter in a story the world is watching closely, waiting to see if and when that moment will finally arrive. Momentum around Travis Kelce's statement has continued to build, evolving from a single interview moment into a broader discussion about visibility, privacy, and modern celebrity dynamics. As coverage expands, analysts point out that the significance of a potential public appearance lies not only in the couple themselves, but in what it represents within today's media ecosystem, where controlled exposure can be as powerful as constant presence. Several media strategists have noted that Kelce's wording appeared deliberate. By neither confirming nor denying a future appearance, he effectively shifted the narrative without committing to a timeline. This approach allows public interest to grow organically while maintaining personal boundaries. In an era where celebrity relationships are often overexposed, the restraint shown by both Kelce and Swift stands out as a calculated contrast. Sources familiar with entertainment branding suggest that Taylor Swift's approach to public visibility has long followed a principle of timing over frequency. When she chooses to be seen, the moment tends to carry symbolic or strategic weight. This has led many observers to believe that if a joint appearance does happen, it will likely coincide with a moment of broader relevance, such as a milestone event, a major industry gathering, or a cultural crossroads that amplifies the impact. Meanwhile, the sports world has also reacted strongly. Travis Kelce's prominence within the NFL places him at the intersection of athletics and entertainment, a space that has grown increasingly influential in recent years. His relationship with Swift has already introduced new audiences to football broadcasts, merchandise sales, and media coverage, creating measurable crossover effects. A public appearance together could further strengthen that bridge, drawing even more attention to both industries. Digital engagement metrics reflect this growing anticipation. Since Kelce's comments circulated, online discussions referencing both names have seen sustained spikes rather than short-lived bursts. This pattern suggests that public interest is not fading quickly, but instead settling into a prolonged period of speculation. Experts describe this as a slow burn cycle, where anticipation is maintained through uncertainty rather than constant updates. Adding to the intrigue is the absence of visual confirmation. In a culture driven heavily by imagery, the lack of shared public photos or formal appearances has only heightened curiosity. Media outlets have noted that this scarcity increases perceived value. When something is rare, it commands more attention. As a result, even a minimal public interaction, walking into the same venue, attending the same event, could dominate headlines. Industry commentators also emphasize that the conversation extends beyond entertainment gossip. It touches on evolving expectations of public figures, especially those operating at the highest level of fame. Kelce and Swift represent two different but equally powerful celebrity archetypes, each accustomed to intense scrutiny. Their ability to navigate interest without overexposure is increasingly seen as a case study in modern fame management. From a business perspective, brands are watching closely. A confirmed public appearance would likely trigger a wave of renewed partnerships, endorsements, and cross-promotional opportunities. While neither Kelce nor Swift has signaled any commercial intent, marketers understand that cultural moments of this scale often reshape advertising narratives, even without direct involvement from the celebrities themselves. Despite the growing attention, official channels remain quiet. No joint statements have been released, and representatives for both parties have declined to comment further. This silence reinforces the perception that control remains firmly in their hands. Rather than reacting to speculation, both appear content to let interest build naturally. Public reaction continues to be largely positive, characterized by curiosity rather than intrusion. Fans frequently describe the potential appearance as something they are waiting for, rather than something they feel entitled to. This tone contrasts with more aggressive celebrity coverage and may explain why the story has maintained momentum without significant backlash. As the calendar moves forward, every major event becomes a point of analysis. Award shows, championship games, international appearances, and high-profile gatherings are all being quietly evaluated by observers as possible settings. Yet, experts caution against assuming inevitability. The opening of a possibility does not guarantee execution, and both Kelce and Swift have demonstrated comfort with defying expectations. What remains undeniable is the shift in narrative tone. Prior coverage focused largely on speculation and rumor, whereas the current discussion centers on timing, meaning, and potential impact. That evolution can be traced directly back to Kelce's brief but consequential remark, which reframed the conversation without oversharing. Cultural analysts argue that this moment reflects a broader trend in celebrity storytelling, where restraint and ambiguity generate deeper engagement than constant disclosure. By allowing space for interpretation, public figures invite audiences to remain invested over time rather than consuming information in a single cycle. Whether or not a public appearance ultimately takes place, the effect of the statement has already been felt. It has sustained attention, shaped discourse, and reinforced the cultural influence both individuals command. In that sense, the outcome may matter less than the process, the gradual build of anticipation and the collective pause it has created. For now, the story remains open-ended. No confirmations, no denials, just a possibility hanging in the public imagination. As long as that possibility exists, interest is likely to persist. And if the moment does arrive, it will not be seen as sudden, but as the culmination of a narrative that began with a single, carefully chosen sentence. Until then, the spotlight remains fixed, the audience continues to watch, and the question lingers. Will the rare public appearance move from speculation to reality, or will it remain one of the most closely followed what-ifs in contemporary pop culture? As anticipation continues to stretch across weeks, the discussion surrounding Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift has gradually shifted from immediate reaction to long-term expectation. Media coverage now treats the possibility of a public appearance not as breaking news, but as an evolving storyline, one that develops subtly through context, timing, and silence rather than overt announcements. Observers note that this sustained attention is unusual in a media cycle typically driven by rapid turnover. Stories often peak and fade within days, yet this narrative has remained active without any new concrete developments. Analysts attribute this longevity to the credibility of the source, Travis Kelce himself, because the opening came directly from him, rather than anonymous insiders or tabloid speculation. The possibility carries more weight and staying power. Within entertainment journalism, the story is increasingly framed as a matter of when rather than if, though carefully so. Reporters are cautious not to overstate claims, instead emphasizing that the door is open but not guaranteed. This measured tone has helped maintain trust with audiences while keeping curiosity alive. It is a balancing act that mirrors the careful communication style both Kelce and Swift are known for. Meanwhile, fan communities continue to dissect even the smallest details. Subtle changes in public schedules, overlapping travel windows, and attendance at major events are all examined for potential connections. While none of these observations amount to confirmation, they contribute to a broader sense that the possibility remains active rather than fading into the background. Sports media has also expanded its angle on the story. Commentators point out that Kelce's growing presence in pop culture has already altered how certain NFL narratives are framed. Games, press conferences, and league events now attract attention from audiences who might not traditionally follow professional football. A public appearance alongside Swift would likely accelerate this crossover even further, reinforcing Kelce's position as one of the most culturally visible athletes of his generation. From the music industry side, the implications are equally notable. Taylor Swift's influence extends far beyond chart performance, shaping conversations around fandom, touring economics, and global entertainment trends. Any public moment involving her tends to resonate internationally, often transcending language and regional boundaries. Pairing that reach with Kelce's sports-driven audience creates a rare convergence that few modern celebrity relationships can match. Industry veterans describe this as a high-impact, low-frequency scenario. In other words, even a single confirmed appearance could generate disproportionate attention compared to more frequent but less controlled exposures. This understanding likely informs the cautious approach both parties appear to be taking, prioritizing significance over repetition. Despite intense interest, there has been a noticeable lack of intrusive reporting. Paparazzi coverage has remained relatively limited, and major outlets have largely avoided speculative claims presented as facts. This restraint reflects a broader shift in how high-profile relationships are covered, particularly when both individuals maintain strong professional credibility and public goodwill. As time passes, the story has begun to carry symbolic weight. For some audiences, it represents a modern approach to fame, one where visibility is intentional and privacy is actively defended. For others, it is simply a compelling intersection of two powerful public figures whose worlds rarely overlap so directly. What adds to the intrigue is that neither Kelce nor Swift appears to be leveraging the attention for promotion. There have been no coordinated announcements, no strategic leaks, and no attempts to redirect the conversation toward upcoming projects. This absence of apparent self-interest strengthens the perception that any future appearance would be personal rather than performative. Media scholars have pointed out that this dynamic challenges traditional celebrity storytelling. Instead of a clear build-up followed by a reveal, the narrative unfolds in fragments, shaped as much by what is not said as by what is. The audience is invited to observe, interpret, and wait, rather than consume a neatly packaged moment. As major cultural events approach, speculation naturally intensifies. Each high-profile gathering becomes another checkpoint in the collective imagination. Still, experienced commentators caution that expectations should remain grounded. Possibility does not equate to obligation, and the freedom to choose silence remains just as meaningful as the choice to appear. In the broader landscape of celebrity news, the Travis Kelce-Taylor Swift conversation stands out precisely because of its restraint. It has generated sustained global interest without relying on sensational claims or constant updates. Instead, it progresses quietly, fueled by credibility, curiosity, and cultural relevance. Ultimately, whether the rare public appearance materializes or not, the narrative has already achieved something uncommon. It has captured attention without exhausting it. The audience remains engaged, not because of excess information, but because of its careful absence. For now, the story continues to exist in a state of anticipation. No definitive answers, no closing statements, just an open thread woven into the fabric of modern pop culture. And until that thread is either tied off or brought fully into view, the world will keep watching, listening, and waiting for the moment when possibility turns into reality. As the weeks roll on, the narrative surrounding Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift continues to mature into something larger than a fleeting headline. What began as a brief remark has now settled into a sustained cultural conversation, one that reflects how modern audiences engage with celebrity stories in an era defined by constant access yet selective visibility. Newsrooms have quietly adjusted how they frame the story. Rather than chasing confirmation, many outlets now contextualize the situation within broader discussions about fame, control, and timing. Editors describe it as a developing atmosphere rather than a developing event. The absence of a clear update has not weakened interest. Instead, it has reshaped it into a long-form curiosity that evolves alongside public perception. Media analysts point out that Travis Kelce's role in this narrative is particularly significant. As an athlete operating at the highest level of professional sports, his public life is already structured around performance, discipline, and strategic communication. When he speaks casually, audiences tend to interpret his words as grounded rather than speculative. This credibility has anchored the story, preventing it from drifting into tabloid territory. At the same time, Taylor Swift's established relationship with media scrutiny adds another layer. Over the years, she has demonstrated an ability to redirect narratives simply by choosing when to be visible and when to withdraw. Her silence in the wake of Kelce's comments has been widely interpreted not as avoidance, but as intentional neutrality, allowing the conversation to exist without steering it prematurely. Cultural commentators note that this approach aligns with a growing shift in celebrity influence. Power no longer comes solely from constant presence, but from the ability to pause attention and release it selectively. In this context, the possibility of a public appearance carries more weight precisely because it is not guaranteed. The conversation has also sparked renewed interest in how celebrity relationships intersect with audience expectations. Fans today are highly engaged, yet increasingly aware of boundaries. Online discussions frequently emphasize patience and respect, suggesting that the appeal lies not in access, but in anticipation. This tone has helped the story remain positive and curiosity-driven rather than intrusive. From an economic standpoint, the implications remain notable. Entertainment economists have observed that moments of cross-industry convergence, such as sports figures intersecting with global music icons, often create secondary waves of engagement. These waves influence streaming behavior, broadcast ratings, merchandise interest, and even unrelated cultural conversations. A single public appearance could quietly affect multiple sectors without any direct promotional intent. International media has also contributed to the story's longevity. Coverage is not limited to US-based outlets. Publications across Europe, Asia, and Latin America continue to reference the possibility when discussing either figure. This global framing reinforces the idea that the interest extends beyond celebrity news and into shared cultural awareness. Despite this, there is a notable lack of urgency in official commentary. Representatives associated with both Kelce and Swift have maintained a consistent stance of non-engagement. No corrections, no amplifications, no clarifications. This hands-off approach suggests confidence that the narrative does not require management, only time. Journalists covering the story increasingly compare it to past moments of restrained celebrity exposure, instances where anticipation outpaced confirmation and ultimately defined the memory of the event. In those cases, whether the appearance occurred or not became secondary to the collective experience of waiting. As the story continues, attention has shifted toward tone rather than outcome. Analysts examine how audiences respond to uncertainty and how trust is built through measured communication. In this sense, the Travis Kelce-Taylor Swift discussion has become an informal case study in contemporary media psychology. There is also an emerging consensus that any future appearance, if it happens, will not be framed as a spectacle. Given the careful pacing so far, observers expect subtlety rather than grand announcement. A quiet arrival, a shared presence, or even a brief overlap could carry more impact than a staged reveal. Importantly, the absence of escalation has prevented fatigue. Unlike many celebrity narratives that burn brightly and fade quickly, this one has remained steady. Interest neither spikes uncontrollably nor disappears. It lingers, sustained by credibility and cultural relevance. As new seasons unfold in both sports and music, the backdrop of the story continues to change. Each shift adds context, making the original comment feel less like a standalone moment and more like the opening line of a longer chapter. In the end, the significance of this narrative may lie in its restraint. It reflects a moment in pop culture where less information creates more engagement, and where possibility can be more compelling than certainty. Travis Kelce's brief acknowledgement did not promise a moment. It invited one. For now, that invitation remains unanswered. The public watches not for confirmation, but for meaning. And until that meaning takes form, the story stays alive, quietly unfolding, driven by curiosity, credibility, and the shared awareness that some moments are powerful precisely because they have not yet arrived. As the narrative stretches further, what becomes increasingly clear is that this story has moved beyond the usual life cycle of celebrity news. It is no longer driven by novelty, but by endurance. The continued relevance of Travis Kelce's remark speaks to a deeper fascination with how influence is exercised in silence, and how restraint itself can become a form of communication. Media historians have begun to compare this moment to earlier eras when public figures controlled their exposure through scarcity rather than saturation. In contrast to today's always-on culture, where visibility is often constant and reactive, the approach taken by Kelce and Swift feels almost deliberate in its calm. That contrast alone has kept the discussion alive, as audiences sense that they are witnessing a different rhythm of fame. Within professional sports circles, Kelce's position adds further complexity. As a veteran athlete with championship credentials, his public image has traditionally been defined by performance and leadership. The attention surrounding his personal life has not altered that perception, but it has expanded it. Commentators note that he now occupies a rare dual space: respected competitor and cultural figure. Any public appearance alongside Swift would reinforce that duality, solidifying his role beyond the field. Meanwhile, the music industry continues to watch quietly. Taylor Swift's influence has long been measured not only by sales and attendance, but by her ability to set conversational agendas. When she steps into public view, the ripple effects often extend far beyond music. Analysts believe that if she chooses to appear publicly with Kelce, the moment would be interpreted less as a relationship update and more as a cultural signal. This interpretation is reinforced by the absence of urgency. There has been no rush to clarify, no attempt to capitalize immediately on the attention. Instead, the story unfolds at its own pace. That pacing has allowed it to integrate naturally into broader discussions about celebrity autonomy, audience expectations, and the evolving relationship between public figures and the public. Online discourse reflects this shift. Rather than demanding confirmation, many conversations now focus on hypotheticals and context. Fans debate what such an appearance would symbolize, how it would be framed, and why timing matters. These discussions are less about access and more about meaning, suggesting a maturation in how celebrity narratives are consumed. From a journalistic standpoint, the story has become a reference point. Articles about either Kelce or Swift often include a brief mention of the possibility, not as a lead, but as a background thread. This technique keeps the narrative present without overstating its importance, allowing it to remain part of the cultural backdrop. International coverage continues to amplify this effect. In markets where celebrity culture intersects strongly with sports or music, the story is framed as an example of global influence converging. The pairing resonates across demographics, drawing interest from audiences who might otherwise remain separate. That universality contributes to the story's longevity. There is also a growing sense that the outcome may be intentionally ambiguous. Some analysts suggest that leaving the question unanswered preserves its power. A confirmed appearance would resolve the narrative, but it would also close it. By contrast, an open-ended possibility allows the story to adapt and persist, evolving alongside public interest. As seasonal milestones approach, new sports schedules, major concerts, international events, the speculation subtly renews itself. Each moment passes without confirmation, yet each one reinforces the idea that the choice, whenever it is made, will be intentional. This reinforces respect rather than frustration among observers. In the broader context of pop culture, the Travis Kelce-Taylor Swift conversation highlights a shift toward narrative minimalism. Instead of constant updates, a single statement has been allowed to breathe, expand, and resonate. That approach challenges assumptions about how attention must be managed in the digital age. Critically, the story has avoided polarization. There has been little backlash, minimal skepticism, and no major attempts to discredit the narrative. This stability is rare and suggests that audiences perceive authenticity rather than manipulation. Trust, once established, has allowed the story to remain engaging without escalation. As time continues, the question remains suspended, not as a demand, but as an invitation. Will there be a public appearance? Perhaps. But the more compelling aspect may be how comfortably the story exists without an answer. It demonstrates that modern audiences are capable of sustained interest without immediate payoff. In that sense, the true impact of Kelce's comment may already have been realized. It has reshaped how the relationship is discussed, how expectations are framed, and how silence is interpreted. Whether or not the anticipated moment arrives, the narrative has already left its mark. For now, the story continues in a state of quiet momentum. It advances not through announcements, but through awareness. And as long as that awareness remains, the possibility endures, steady, unresolved, and firmly embedded in the landscape of contemporary pop culture. As the narrative continues to unfold, the conversation around Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift has begun to take on a reflective tone. Rather than chasing headlines, many media outlets are now examining why this story resonates so strongly and why it refuses to fade. At its core, the intrigue lies not in what has happened, but in what could happen and how that possibility is being handled. Cultural commentators argue that this moment highlights a shift in how audiences engage with high-profile figures. In the past, constant updates and visible confirmation were expected. Today, however, the absence of information can be just as compelling. Kelce's single remark has effectively created a long-running narrative arc, one sustained by credibility, timing, and deliberate restraint. Within the NFL, Kelce's growing cultural presence is increasingly viewed as part of a broader evolution. Athletes are no longer confined to their sport. They are public figures whose influence reaches entertainment, fashion, and social discourse. Kelce's connection to Swift has accelerated that visibility, but his measured communication has ensured that the focus remains balanced rather than sensationalized. Music industry analysts echo similar sentiments. Taylor Swift's brand has long been associated with narrative control and intentional exposure. Her decision not to comment publicly has been interpreted as consistency rather than avoidance. By allowing the discussion to exist independently, she maintains agency over when and how her personal life enters the public frame. This dynamic has resulted in an unusual equilibrium. Interest remains high, yet pressure appears low. Fans speculate, but largely without entitlement. Media reports analyze, but rarely overreach. This balance has allowed the story to sustain momentum without triggering backlash or fatigue. International observers have also weighed in, noting how rare it is for a celebrity-related topic to maintain relevance across regions without fresh developments. Publications outside the United States often frame the story as an example of global pop culture convergence, where sports and music intersect through personalities rather than events. As weeks turn into months, the original statement has taken on a symbolic quality. It is no longer just about a potential public appearance. It represents a broader conversation about choice, visibility, and modern fame. The possibility itself has become the headline, evolving independently of confirmation. Some analysts suggest that if a public appearance does eventually occur, its impact will be shaped by this prolonged anticipation. The moment would not feel abrupt or manufactured,